I didn't get to the post office this week, so I know not everybody has props. So we're going to keep it light on props today. But I am going to suggest a folded blanket. If you want to use other props as we go through, you are obviously more than welcome to use what you have. But yeah, folded blanket, which can either be sort of used for knee support, or you can sit on it, or both. And if you've got a bolster or a chunky cushion of some description, I'd grab that as well. Those are the only things I'm going to cue using, but like I say, if you know you need to use something else at another point and you have it to hand, then feel free to do that. So we're going to start seated today. We're going to start sitting either on a folded blanket or on your cushion or bolster, whatever you've got. So just find somewhere comfortable. Take a little moment to have a wriggle, get settled. And then when you're ready, closing your eyes, just letting your hands rest on your knees, or in your lap. And starting by taking a moment to become familiar with your breath this morning. Just being curious about your breath. Noticing the pace, depth, the ease of your breath this morning. Notice also how you're sitting. If your breath feels in any way restricted, see how you can shift your position to help make that breathing a little bit more easy. So that you can start to draw your breaths deeper down in towards the belly. If you want to place your hands over your belly, so you've got a reminder, a cue, something to work with, you can think about sending your breath into your hands. Slowing down the breath, finding a nice, steady, controlled pace to breathe at. Nothing too arduous. Noticing how your body responds to that change in the pattern of your breath. Releasing the hands, keeping that breath going. Kind of build on that, do 5 golden thread breaths. So I'll talk it through, keep the breath you've got at the minute, I'll talk it through and then we can switch to it. So for a golden thread breath, the breath in is through the nose, thinking about filling up all of your lung space, so breathing into the belly, the sides of the rib cage, the back, the shoulders, your collarbone, all of that space. Filling it up as much as you possibly can, and then a little bit extra. And then we're going to breathe out through a tiny little gap in the lips, pressing the air out nice and steady. There's absolutely no rush. Just let the body take its time to push the air out. Imagine that there's a little golden thread being spun between your lips. It's pooling on the ground in front of you. And you let that go all the way to empty. And you may notice the diaphragm and the pelvic floor muscles are related. So when you get really empty and your diaphragm is up in its domed neutral position, you can sometimes feel a little bit of movement down in the pelvic floor as well. So that's something to keep an eye out for. But if at any point any breath makes you feel panicked or agitated, then just leave it, come back to this steady breath. So maybe on your next inhale, start to take that nice full breath, filling up every inch of your lungs with air. And then gentle little purse in the lips, letting the air press out. Not really any effort, just letting it release steadily from the lungs. Four more breaths. When you've done your 5 breaths, just return to that steady, deep breath. Start moving nice and gently. So you can keep the eyes closed. If they're closed, you can blink them open if you wish to. You're going to use your next inhale to sweep the arms up overhead so that the palms touch. As you exhale, twist to the right, let the arms come down. So just taking a twist as far as is comfortable. Use the next inhale to sweep back up. And exhale to twist to the left. So keeping that going. Each inhale is going to bring you up. And each exhale is going to find a twist. And just notice how that feels. Keeping it nice and gentle. Letting the breath guide the movement. So slow down the movement as much as you need to so that it takes a full breath to complete it. Next time you come down on the right hand side, we're going to hold there. We're going to try and keep the spine long. So try not to sort of rest back on that hand behind you. You can take the hand to the base of the spine if you want, so that that keeps you sitting nice and tall. Front hand can come across the body to the thigh or the knee. Turning the head over the back shoulder, letting the eyeballs roll all the way around in the socket. Making sure you can still take nice full breaths. So release the twist a little bit if you feel like your breathing is compromised. Using your next inhale to sweep the arms overhead, facing front again. Exhaling to take the twist to the left. So same thing, fingertips or backhand to the base of the spine. Right hand across the knee. Sitting up nice and tall. Letting the head and the eyes roll all the way around over that back shoulder. Last breath. And we're going to use an inhale to sweep the arms high again, reach face forward. And then we're going to come into a forward fold. So just folding as far as you feel comfortable. Keeping the hands walking forward so there's lots of space. Nice deep breaths. If you want to round through the back, you're more than welcome to. Give the back a little bit of a stretch out. On an inhale, going to walk the hands back, sitting up nice and tall again, and then switch over the ankles. So this time we're going to do side bends. So sitting tall again. On an inhale, sweeping the arms up high. This time on the exhale, we're going to take a side bend over to the right. Inhale to lift up. And exhale to the left. So keeping that going. Same sort of thing. Inhale is going to reach up through the center. And each exhale is going to find a side bend. So as you're moving, just thinking about keeping the spine long. And it's almost as though your back is against a wall. So notice if your shoulders try to round forward away from that invisible wall. See if you can lift the chest a little bit, find a little bit more space. Again, following the length of your breath to find the speed for your movements. It might not match anyone else, that's absolutely fine. Next time you come down to the right, you're going to hold there. So just take care not to kind of collapse too much or get lazy. Keep reaching through that top hand, keeping the spine long and the chest a little bit lifted so you've got your back flat against that invisible wall. Nice deep breaths. Inhale, lifting up and exhaling to the left. So same thing, just trying to keep that spine long, back flat against that invisible wall and reaching through those fingertips. One more breath. And we're going to inhale, reach up, and exhale, fold forward. So again, coming as far down as you feel comfortable. Seeing how the back feels, maybe noticing how the hips feel. Keeping that breath nice and deep, nice and steady. So you can always use your breath as a gauge. If it feels restricted in a position, then use that as a little hint to maybe adjust. Find that deep breath. One more breath in your forward fold. Use an inhale to start to walk the hands back towards you, lifting you up nice and tall, and then we're going to come over onto all fours. So take a moment to set up. Try and get your knees underneath the hip joint. Nice even distance between them. Wrists are going to be roughly under your shoulders, but wherever those kind of support contacts are, make sure you feel strong, you feel steady. With your hands, start thinking about pressing through the fingertips, pressing through the knuckles, the thumbs, pressing the ground firmly away. So there's a little bit of a sense of lift through the shoulders. Nice long spine, long neck. And do a little bit more with our breath here. So on the exhale, keep the spine still, but draw the belly button towards the front of your spine. As you inhale, let the belly soften as the lungs fill with air. Exhaling to draw the belly button into the front of the spine. And inhaling to soften the belly, filling it up. Keeping that going. Trying to keep the spine still throughout the movements. Keep pressing through those fingers, through the knuckles. Two more breaths. And returning to the normal belly breath. Few little shoulder press ups. So on an exhale, really firmly pressing the ground away, letting the rib cage rise up between the shoulder blades. And then as you exhale, letting the chest drop down between the arms. So try to keep the movement around the shoulders, pressing the ground away, retracting the shoulder blades, and then letting the rib cage drop down between the arms. Keeping that going, following the breath. Trying to minimize the amount of movement through, particularly the lower spine. So focusing on that action around the shoulders. And if you're ever feeling fancy, you can try doing a version of this in down dog and things like that as well. Let's do two more. And then find your way to a child's pose. So if you need props, grab props. Otherwise, we're going to sit on our heels. Knees can be together or apart. Forehead can come down or rest on a cushion or something. Arms can reach forward or they can rest heavy alongside your legs. Find a spot that feels good for you. Nice deep breath. You're going to come back up to a tabletop. I'm going to walk the hands a little further forward. Take the shoulders with you, so you've got a slightly longer base. I'm going to do a swooping cat-cow, so it becomes, it gets the hips involved a little bit more. So again, thinking with those fingers and the knuckles about the work in the hands. So this time on your exhale, you're going to arch the back to the sky and start to sit the bum back towards the heels. As you inhale, you're going to bring the chest along the ground, keep the elbows close, and then lift up at the front. Lovely. So exhaling to arch the back, sitting the bum towards the heels. Inhale, sort of raising your chest across the ground as you come forward and lift back up. Keeping that going. Keeping the elbows close to the body as you slide forward. Pressing through the fingertips as you find that sort of cat shape. Last couple of these. And then we're going to find our way to a normal tabletop. We're going to tuck our toes, walk the hands back and lift the knees up so you come to a little bit of a squat. If you've got anything on your mat, just clear it off, make some space. And then we're going to take the hips up, head down, find a ragdoll forward fold. So you might need to shuffle the feet away a little bit. Big bend in the knees. Maybe the chest comes to rest on the thighs, head is heavy, neck is soft, so make sure you're not holding any tension. Give it a little wiggle and letting gravity pull down on the arms as well. You would have a little sway side to side, backwards and forwards. Feel free to just explore, hanging out. Nice big breath. Words. We're going to use an inhale to unroll. So thinking about moving through the spine, letting everything else just hang, stay soft. So the chin stays tucked, the knees bent, all the way up to the top. Have a little wriggle if you need a little wriggle. And then find a standing position where your feet are parallel to each other. So they're not too close together. They're nice and stable beneath you, running parallel. And then we're going to take a step forward with the right foot, trying to keep that kind of line, that gap between them. Try and keep the hips facing the same direction. We're going to take the arms behind the back. So you can either take reverse prayer, pressing the palms of the hands into each other, or you can just take a hold of opposite elbows up to you. So thinking about pressing down through both feet to make sure you can still press through, particularly the heels of both of them. Lifting up a little bit through the front of the chest. We're going to hinge at the hips, so try and keep the back in this position as you fold at the hips, just coming down as far as you want to without the top of the back rounding down. So keeping the front of the body as long as you can, keep pressing through both feet. Keeping the spine long. One more breath. On an inhale, we're going to lift the chest back up. We're going to step onto the front foot. Take the hands to the hips. So you're going to come into a tree pose. I'm just going to turn so you can see. So your right foot is down. Your left foot is going to come to the inside of the right leg. So you can keep the toe down on the ground if you need a bit of extra support, or you can bring it anywhere higher up the leg, right up to your crotch. Wherever you are, think about drawing that left knee out to the side behind you and trying to stand up nice and tall. So notice if this hip pops out to the side, see if you can bring it back in. Notice if your bum sticks out, see if you can tuck that, lifting up through the chest. Hands to prayer. If you want to reach them up, open the arms. Nice steady breath. Try to look at something that's not moving. And if you want to build on this further, you can see how it feels to close your eyes. Or you can take a little side bend over that knee. That is not for me today. One more breath. And then we're going to replace the left foot, hands come down. So it should be somewhere in the middle of the mat. Again, just taking a moment to check the feet, get them in that nice parallel starting position. And then this time we're stepping the left foot forward. Just far enough forward that you can still get both heels firmly down and the hips facing the same direction. So pressing through the feet, taking the arms behind the back. Again, same options, so reverse prayer or opposite elbows. See if you can do it the weird way, i.e. the opposite way. So pressing through the feet, lifting the chest. Notice how that feels through the front of the chest. We're not changing that angle at all. The movement is coming from the hips. As we exhale, fold forward, keep that chest long and lifted. A little squeeze of the shoulder blades to help support that movement. Nice. Pressing through the heels. Nice steady breath. One more breath. Use an inhale to lift yourself back up. You're going to step forward. So weight into the left foot and find our tree pose on this side. So again, right toes might stay down for a bit of support, or the sole of the foot can press anywhere into this left leg. So to help keep the hip central, you almost want to push the foot and the leg into each other. Hands coming to prayer. Everything drawn in nice and central, nice long line. Option to reach the arms up overhead, take the hands apart. Keep that right knee pressing back behind you wherever it is. Again, same options. If you still want to add on here, if this is easy peasy, then you can close your eyes or find that little side bend over the right knee. If you do the side bend, try not to compromise any of the shape you set up. Keeping that breathing nice and steady. On an exhale, releasing down, having a little wiggle if you need a little wiggle. Lovely. Right, so to get back to the back of the mat, we're going to do 3 lengths of the mat in a little kind of balance. So you're going to walk heel to toe 3 times the length of your mat, trying to keep the head lifted. Take your time. It's harder to do it slower, so do it slower. challenging to get your balance, but also because you're not looking at your feet, your proprioception working out, your body working out where all the different parts are. This mat is very sticky. When you get to the back of the mat, you've finished your 3 lengths. We're going to find a nice comfortable standing pose. Feet a comfortable distance apart. Pressing down through the heels, lifting up through the crown of the head, reaching for the earth with the fingertips. Do some half sun salutations. So on an inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up high, palms touch. As you exhale, hinge at the hips to come into a forward fold, softening the knees if the backs of the legs are whinging. Inhale to lift up halfway, fingertips to shins, flat back, little squeeze of the shoulder blades. Exhale, folding forward again. Inhale, rising up. Palms touch overhead, and exhale back to Tadasana, your mountain pose, nice and strong. Same again, inhale to sweep the arms high. Exhale to fold. Inhale to find that halfway lift. Exhale to soften. Inhale to rise all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart. Last one of these. Inhale to sweep the arms high. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, soften. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, we're going to make our way back down to the floor. So we're going to inhale to sweep the arms high. We're going to exhale to fold. Inhale to come up halfway. Exhale, hands come down to the ground. Crawl forward on them and bring the knees down so you're back to your tabletop. From here, we're going to stick the right leg out behind us, toes down on the ground, and press out through that heel. Try to keep the top half of the body engaged in this tabletop position rather than letting it kind of slack off and get a bit lazy. So still pressing through your fingers, your knuckles, lifting the rib cage into the shoulder blades. Nice deep breaths. From here, hopefully you've got enough space. We're going to scoop that right leg out to the side. No, it's here. In line with that knee. Lovely. Then we're going to flex the right foot and twist the toes up towards the ceiling. On your next exhale, taking that foot back down and bringing the right knee back underneath you into your tabletop. Going into the other side, so sending the left foot out behind you, toes down, pressing through that heel. Nice long spine, deep breath. And we're going to slide that foot out to the side again. Imagine it's a hand on a clock face, bringing the foot in line with the knee, flexing the left foot, and then twisting the toes up towards the sky. One more breath here. Use an exhale to release the foot. Slide the left knee back underneath you. And then we're going to come up to a kneeling position. So we're going to be sitting on our heels. If you want to pop a cushion or a bolster between your legs, under your bum, something like that, so you don't get pins and needles, feel free to do that. Finding a nice straight spine. We're going to start with the right arm. So we're going to start by inhaling and sweeping both arms up. Then we're going to bend the right elbow so the hand comes between the shoulders. Keep the elbow nice and lifted. So try to keep the head in its normal position. Try not to kind of compromise it. So just bring that left elbow as close as you can get it. If there's loads of room there, then you can reach behind, bind with your fingers or hands. Otherwise, just keep sitting nice and tall, little tricep stretch there. One more breath. And then very gently unraveling the arms, maybe taking a little stretch out to the side and releasing the arms back down. On your next inhale, sweeping the arms up again. This time it's the left side's turn, so elbow bends. Find out how things are feeling this morning. So head neutral, bringing that right elbow in. Maybe you can reach behind, find the bind. Maybe that's not on the cards today. Wherever you are, nice tall spine, deep breaths. Just watch that neck, keep it in a neutral position. One more breath. And then releasing the arm, another little stretch out to the side maybe, and bringing the arms back down. A little bit more work on the arms. So we're going to do a combo one. So we're going to quack with our fingers, and we're going to use the arms to follow the breath. So as you inhale, bring the arms up from alongside you. Keep those fingers quacking. Could be slow to start with. As you exhale, the arms come all the way back down alongside you. So using the length of your breath to find the length of your movement. Inhale to reach up. And exhale to come back down. When you found your rhythm, I'm going to complicate it by keeping the speed of the movement of the arms the same, but quacking your fingers faster. Do 2 more after this one. After your final one, once your hands get back down by your side, give the hands a little shake out. Let them be all floppy. I'm going to bring the hands together, interlace the fingers. Nice slow movement, keeping the elbow still, rolling through a figure 8 shape. Nice and steady. And then back the other way. One more breath. More rolls, another little shake out for the hands, and then we're going to come down onto our backs. We're going to keep the knees bent, soles of the feet on the ground. I'm going to do 2 rounds of 5 pelvic tilts. So you're getting the heels underneath the knees if you can. If you know that's a problem for you, then adjust as you need to. Arms can rest alongside you on the ground, nice and easy. So on an exhale, I'm going to start to press through the whole sole of the foot. Notice what muscles start to get involved. Notice how that feels, but try not to lift the hips. And then release the sense of pressing through the feet. We're going to do that once more. I just want you to notice how that feels and where you feel work happening. And then release again. The next time you do it on an exhale, if the hips want to lift, just let them come a little way up. So each tilt is going to be a little bit higher than the last. So there's no rush. Use an inhale to roll back down. So exhale to press down, hips lift a little higher. Inhale to roll the spine back down onto the ground. Keeping that going. So third one. Using the whole foot to press down, so don't forget your big toe. Rolling the spine back down. 2 more for this round. Make sure the knees stay parallel. They're not starting to wander off to the sides as your hips lift higher. Last one for this round. So you might want to take the feet a little wider apart, further away, and just drop the knees from one side to the other, nice and slowly. Just release any tension that might have crept in to your hips. Seeing as you bring your spine back down to the ground on these, see if you can kind of do it vertebrae by vertebrae so that it's like really smooth roll down. Notice if there are any clunky bits, any sticky bits, that's absolutely fine. Just trying to work out what's happening for the minute. So resetting, bringing the feet back a little closer. Getting set up, and then 5 more tilts. So you might start back at 0, or you might build on where you left off. So using your exhale to lift, and your inhale to roll back down. When you're done, maybe taking the feet again a little wider apart, a little further away. Gently rocking the knees from side to side. Try to keep that steady breath. Try not to upset the rhythm of it by moving too fast. Keeping it nice and easy. The next time your knees come over to the right hand side, just going to let them hang out there. So let them drop, let them be heavy. If your foot slides, that's absolutely fine. If you want to add on to this, you can reach the arms overhead. If you haven't quite got enough space, you can take hold of opposite elbows. Keep that breath steady. You can close your eyes if you wish. Nice and soft. If your arms are overhead, just bring them back down alongside you or on your belly for a moment. I'm going to use an inhale to bring the knees up towards the ceiling. Use an exhale to drop them over to the left. We're going to let them hang out this side at this time. So again, taking a moment to adjust your position if you need to, so that you can let those knees hang and relax as much as possible. Focusing in on your breath. If you want to add on, you can see how it feels to reach the arms overhead on this side as well. If you had hold of opposite elbows, do it the weird way around. Try and get the other side this time. One more breath. I'm going to release the arms down, look along the body again. Inhale to bring the knees up towards the ceiling. This time you're going to hug them into your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Maybe make yourself into a ball. Pull some silly faces. Get the blood moving through those muscles too. I'm not looking. And when you're ready, find your way to your Shavasana. So traditionally lying flat on the back, feet a little way apart from each other so that the legs and feet can just hang out, arms alongside you on the ground, palms facing up towards the ceiling. If that feels uncomfortable in the lower back, you can either pop something under your knees, or you can bend the knees up, take the feet wide apart and let the knees drop together. Taking a couple of deep breaths, filling up the lungs as much as you can. Letting everything go with a long, gentle sigh out of the mouth. Maybe doing that a couple more times. Just using this time to let go of any effort, of any expectation, of any work. Trying to let your body relax, letting it feel heavy, and it feels soft, and everything feel easy. Notice the support from the ground and the bolsters or whatever it is you've got underneath you. And allow them to take over the work. Allow them to do the job of holding you and supporting you. You take a few minutes of rest. Starting to draw a deeper breath. Starting to notice how that breath feels in your body. Notice how you want to move. Start small and letting it grow. Maybe taking a stretch. Having a little wriggle before bringing your knees into your chest and rolling over onto your left side. Keeping the body soft and heavy. Using your hands to start to push yourself up. Finding any comfortable seated position, doesn't matter at all what it looks like. Finding a little stillness, maybe letting your hands rest on your knees or over your heart or in prayer. Taking a little moment to thank each other for coming together and sharing this time this morning, this practice. And taking a moment to thank yourself as well for making time in your day, making time for yourself. Taking the hands to prayer and taking the prayer up to the forehead so the thumbs rest against the third eye space. As a little reminder to think kind thoughts. Taking the prayer to the lips for kind words and to the heart for kind actions. And marking the end of the practice with a little bow. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. Lovely to see you. I will edit this video and upload it. And while I'm doing that, you are all free to go enjoy your Sundays. Have a lovely week.